name is Delia Monroe, and I'm 32 years old. For most of my life, I've liked things that have clear answers. I work in data analytics, spreadsheets, queries, dashboards that either line up or don't. There's a strange comfort in being able to point at a timestamp and say, that's when everything changed. You can't do that with people, usually. People drift, erode, blur around the edges. Or at least that's what I thought, until my boyfriend managed to turn our relationship into a performance with metrics. We'd been together 8 months when everything broke. 10, if you count the 2 months of dating app messages and let's grab a drink that felt like something weightless and fun. His name is Logan Price, and he lives online like it's his real address. We matched on a Sunday night. His profile was full of carefully lit photos, coffee shop shots, gym mirror pics, rooftop sunsets, with captions that sounded effortless but weren't. Mine had 2 photos, one of me and my sister at a barbecue, one of a lake. I almost didn't swipe right. He looked curated, too glossy for my very normal, very fluorescent lit life. But his first message wasn't a cheesy line. It was, "You mentioned loving Thai food. Tell me your order so I know whether this can work." I laughed. I told him my usual. He approved. We fell into that easy, witty back and forth that feels like texting in a movie. Within a week, we met for real. He was warmer in person, less polished, more human. We clicked over food, music, stupid memes. He listened when I talked about my job, even though data analytics doesn't exactly photograph well. I knew about his online presence pretty early. He didn't hide it. "I do lifestyle content," he said once, with a self-conscious shrug. "Fitness, routines, brand collabs, that kind of thing. It's dumb, but it pays better than you'd think." I looked him up later. 15,000 followers, brand tags, comments from strangers calling him goals and asking where his shirt was from. It felt like peeking through the glass of a store window at a different life. "I'm basically a human mood board," he joked once, scrolling through his own feed. "Don't worry, you're not signing up to be in my vlogs or anything." At first, that was fine. I'm not a camera person. I'm the one who takes the photo and then forgets to send it. We settled into something that felt solid. Dinners, movie nights, sleepy Sunday mornings with terrible coffee. Logan stayed at my place a lot, enough that his stuff slowly migrated into my closet and my bathroom cabinet. The first time I tried to take a picture of us together, we'd been dating about 5 months. We were at brunch, one of those places with plants in every corner and natural light pouring through the windows like it had been hired. I was stuffed and happy, and a little tipsy on mimosas. Logan was telling a story about a brand manager who'd tried to pay him in exposure, and I thought, this is nice. I want to remember this. I pulled out my phone and leaned in. Smile. He moved faster than I expected, hand coming up to cover the camera. "Whoa, hang on, what are you doing?" "Taking a picture," I said slowly. "Of us? You know, like people do?" His jaw flexed, like he was choosing his words. "Are you planning to post it?" "I thought I might. Is that a problem?" He hesitated just long enough for my stomach to dip. "Can you just send it to me instead? I'll post it if it fits my feed. The lighting's weird from this angle." I laughed it off, because what else do you do? I took the picture. It was actually a good shot. Sunlight, dim restaurant background, both of us smiling real smiles. I texted it to him. He never posted it. I told myself it didn't matter. Not everything has to go online. Maybe that was what he meant when he said he didn't want to drag me into content. Except it kept happening. I'd go to wrap my arm around him at a concert and say, "Let's take a picture," and he'd kiss my temple and murmur, "Let's just enjoy the moment, yeah?" I'd ask someone to take a photo of us at a friend's birthday, and he'd suddenly decide he hated his hair that day. If I did manage to snap something, he'd say, "Send it my way first. I have to make sure it works with my grid." His grid. Meanwhile, his Instagram was full of him. Him at the gym. Him making green smoothies. Him laughing with his friends on patios and rooftops. Him tagging brands and other creators. Not once, not even in the background, was I visible. I tried to ignore it. Tried to be the chill girlfriend. But there's only so many times you can be erased before you start to notice the outline of the space where you should be. A few weeks ago, I asked him about it directly. We were lying on his couch, my legs draped over his lap, some mindless show playing in the background. His phone lit up every few minutes with notifications. Likes, comments, DMs. "Hey," I said, eyes still on the TV. "How come you never post us together?" He paused for a fraction of a second before answering. I keep my relationship private. Social media isn't real life. I turned my head to look at him. But you post everything else. Your workouts, your meals, your friends, just not me. That's different, he said quickly. Those are content. My relationship is personal. So I'm more personal than your breakfast, I said lightly. But there was an edge to it. He sighed. Why does this matter so much to you? Are you insecure about something? There it was, that little twist. If I cared, it meant there was something wrong with me. I let it go. Out loud, at least. Inside, something small and stubborn started taking notes. Then, 5 nights ago, the notes became a ledger. We were at his apartment, half watching some reality show while he scrolled endlessly. At one point, he set his phone face down and said, I need to talk to you about something, okay? My heart did that weird skipping thing. Okay. I don't want you posting pictures of us together, he said, and I'm not going to post any either. I sat up a little. Why? He rubbed the bridge of his nose like this was exhausting. Because I've worked really hard to build my platform. My followers expect a certain aesthetic, a certain lifestyle. If I post relationship content, it has to fit that image. Something cold slid down my spine. And I don't fit that image. It's not personal, he said immediately. You're not really my demographic. You don't have a strong social media presence. You're not in a visually interesting field. People might not understand why I'm with you. It could confuse my brand. I stared at him. So I'm good enough to date, just not good enough to be seen with. You're twisting my words. No, I said quietly. I'm understanding them. He leaned back, relieved, when I said, Fine, I won't post anything. You don't have to worry about your image. This is why I like you, he said, smiling, and kissed my forehead. You're reasonable. I smiled back. I even murmured, Sure. But inside, something shifted into place. It wasn't anger, not yet. It was the same sensation I get when a report comes back wrong and I know there's a hidden variable somewhere. Not rage, calculation. The next morning, Logan was in the shower when I woke up. His phone was on the nightstand, plugged in, screen lighting up every few seconds with notifications. No passcode. He trusted me. Or maybe it had never occurred to him that I'd look. I lay there for a minute, listening to the water run, feeling my heart thudding in my chest. Then I reached for his phone. Instagram was already open. His DMs were a scroll of usernames, brands, friends, blue check marks. And buried in the chaos, the one that made my fingers go numb. At Brianna Klein Fit. I knew the name. Everyone in his little corner of the app did. Fitness model. 50,000 followers. Professionally shot photos of abs and leggings and smoothie bowls. Perfectly on brand for someone like Logan. I tapped the thread. 4 months of messages. At first, it looked harmless, reacting to each other's stories, swapping workout tips. Then the tone shifted. Fire emojis, winking faces. We should collab sometime. Her saying, I'm single and ready for something real with someone who gets this lifestyle. Him replying, same here. It's hard to find. Same here. I scrolled further, my vision tunneling. There were other names too. Smaller accounts, local creators. The pattern was the same. He was cultivating options. People he wouldn't be embarrassed to be seen with online. I took screenshots. Every page. Every damning line. I sent them to myself, then deleted the outgoing messages from his phone. Put it back exactly where it had been. When he came out of the shower, I was in the kitchen making coffee like nothing had happened. What are you up to today? He asked, kissing my shoulder. Just work, I said. Normal stuff. He nodded. Text me later. Maybe we can do dinner. Sure, I said, smiling. After I left, I didn't go straight to the office. I stopped at a coffee shop, ordered something I barely tasted, and sat with my laptop open and my phone glowing with the screenshots I'd stolen. I could confront him. He'd accuse me of violating his privacy. He'd call it networking and collaborations, and somehow I'd end up apologizing for looking. Or I could do something else. I opened Instagram and found Brianna's profile. All sun and sweat and angles that didn't exist in my life. My fingers hovered over the message box for a long time before I started typing. Hey, I wrote. This is probably going to sound strange, but I'm Logan Price's girlfriend. I've noticed you two have been messaging a lot, and he talks about you sometimes. You seem cool. I just wanted to introduce myself. I stared at the words, thumb poised over send. Once I tapped, I couldn't drag them back. Above the message window, her most recent story played, a video of her laughing in a gym, music thumping in the background, the caption reading, manifesting real connections only. Real connections, I whispered, and hit send. The message flew off into the void. The status changed to seen faster than I expected. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. My coffee had gone cold by the time the reply finally came in. Her message was short. Wait, girlfriend? I blinked at the screen. Yes, I typed. We've been dating for 8 months. He stays at my place a lot. I've seen your DMs. I just thought, if you didn't know, you probably deserve to. There was a longer pause this time, long enough for the cafe noise to sharpen around me. Milk steaming, chairs scraping, someone laughing too loudly at a joke. Finally, he told me he was single. My chest tightened. Seeing the words written out by someone else made everything more solid, less like maybe I'd overreacted and more like what it was, a fact. I'm sorry, she added. I had no idea. For a second, I almost backed off. Almost said, it's okay, don't worry, it's not that bad. The way women are trained to sand down their own pain, so other people feel less awkward. Instead, I exhaled and typed, can I ask what he's been saying to you? 3 dots. Gone. 3 dots again. I watched them like a heartbeat monitor. Another message popped up. I'll just show you. Hold on. A moment later, my phone lit up with screenshots. There they were. The same messages I'd seen on his phone, only this time framed by her interface, not mine. Him telling her she looked insane in a story. Him suggesting they meet up for a workout, a shoot, maybe grab a drink after. Him saying, I'm single too. Honestly looking for something real with someone who understands this lifestyle. It's hard to find. There was no way to spin that as networking. There was no way to make I'm single mean I have a girlfriend I'm hiding, but you're just a professional opportunity. Thank you for being honest, I wrote. I really appreciate it. No problem, she replied. I'm sorry you're dealing with this. He made it seem like he was just this hard-working, nice guy trying to grow. I feel gross. You and me both, I thought. I stared at our conversation thread, thumb hovering. I heard Logan's voice in my head. You're not my demographic. You might confuse my brand. I could already see how it would go if I confronted him privately. The defensiveness, the half-apologies, the blame turned back on me for snooping. The subtle implication that if I were more understanding of the influencer world, I'd get that this didn't mean anything. What are you going to do? Brianna asked. Good question. I thought about the night before, him confidently explaining how he had to protect the image he'd built, how he'd sat there, completely comfortable telling me that being seen with me publicly was a downgrade. Something in me hardened. I don't know yet, I replied. Right now I just needed to know I wasn't crazy. I get that, she wrote. If there's anything I can do, tell me. For real, I hate cheaters. I swallowed. There it was, the fork in the road. Option 1. I tell Logan what I know. He talks circles around me until I'm the villain for touching his phone. He maybe apologizes just enough to keep me quiet. He keeps his platform. Maybe he even uses the conflict as content about overcoming relationship challenges. Option 2. I let the thing he loves most judge him. Publicly, brutally, the way he worried my existence would. It felt cruel, petty, calculated. It also felt fair. So I typed, this is a big ask and you absolutely don't have to say yes, but would you be willing to share what he did? Your followers overlap with his. People listen to you. I feel like he's been using both of us. Me as a secret, you as a potential upgrade. I don't have a platform. You do. I stared at the message. I could feel my heart pounding in my throat. Delia? She used my name. I hadn't realized I'd told her it, but there it was in the chat header from my handle. I don't usually get involved in drama, she wrote. I try to keep my page positive. Callouts can turn ugly. I understand, I replied quickly. Really, I'm not trying to drag you into a war. He told me I wasn't good enough to be seen with him because I don't fit his brand. Meanwhile, he's lying to you and whoever else. I don't have any power in his world. You do, but I get it if you'd rather stay out of it. The 3 dots appeared again. They stayed for a long time. I picked at the edge of my paper cup until the cardboard started to peel. You know what? Her message finally came. No, he doesn't get to do this and walk away clean. People should know how he treats women. I'll post the screenshots, I'll tag him, and I'll tag you if you want. The room tilted for a second, not from guilt, but from the dizzy sense that some invisible gear had just shifted, and the rest of the machine hadn't caught up yet. Only if you're okay with that, I answered. And maybe don't tag me directly. I'm private. But you can say he has a girlfriend and he lied about it. That part matters. Got it, she sent back. I'll put it together later tonight. Fair warning, when this goes up, it's going to explode. Are you sure you're ready for that? I thought of Logan, relaxed and smug on his couch, telling me I didn't match his aesthetic. I thought of all the times he angled his own face toward the best light while ducking mine out of the frame. Yeah, I typed. I'm ready. That evening, around 8, my phone buzzed on my kitchen counter. New story from @BriannaKleinFit. I opened it before the notification could even fade. The first slide was a black background with white text. Story time. How a nice guy influencer lied to me and his girlfriend at the same time. I swiped. The second slide was a screenshot of their DMs, his handle clearly visible. His "I'm single" message circled in red. Underneath, she'd typed, "This man has had a girlfriend for 8 months. He's been telling me he's single and looking for something real. I didn't know. I do now." I swiped again. More screenshots, more circled phrases. Her final slide, a photo of her, no filters, eyes flat with anger, captioned, "If you're going to cheat, don't drag people into your lies. @LoganPriceFit, you played the wrong girl." My stomach flipped. Within minutes, her story started multiplying. People reposted it, adding their own commentary. Ugh, not surprised. Another gym guy exposed. This is why I don't trust influencers. Some accounts I didn't recognize made compilation stories, screenshots of his grid, of his comments, of his followers calling him relationship goals just a week ago. I searched his handle. His latest post, a mirror selfie from the gym with a caption about consistency, was filling up with new comments. Is the consistency lying or cheating? Yikes, just saw Brianna's story. So you're single, huh? His follower count, which I'd checked earlier out of morbid curiosity, 15.2K, started ticking down. 15.1, 15.0. It was like watching a stock crash in slow motion. Logan was at a brand event that night, some local launch party. He'd sent me a picture before he left. A flat lay of his outfit, of course, not his face. Be back late, he'd said. Don't wait up. I didn't text him. I sat on my couch with the TV off, the room dim except for my phone screen, and watched his carefully constructed image begin to crumble. Around 10, people started tagging him directly in their own stories, adding the clown emoji next to his handle. A smaller fitness account posted a reel, screenshots of the DMs, a voiceover saying, "Public service announcement. Stop building your personality around being a good guy if you're going to act like this behind the scenes." By 11, I'd lost count of how many times his name had crossed my screen. I wasn't smiling. It didn't feel like some triumphant gotcha moment. It felt inevitable. Like a report I'd been running for weeks finally finished downloading, and the result was exactly what the early data had warned me it would be. Around midnight, I heard his key in the lock. I locked my phone and set it face down on the coffee table, heartbeat suddenly in my throat. He came in flushed and buzzing with leftover party energy, talking before he even saw me. "Babe, you would not believe the turnout. His phone pinged in his hand, then again, and again. The sound became a stuttering alarm. He frowned down at the screen. I watched his expression change in real time. Confusion, then annoyance, then something like fear. "What the—" He stopped in the middle of the living room, thumb flying across the glass as he scrolled. The color drained from his face. "Are you kidding me?" he whispered. "What the hell?" He looked up at me, eyes wide. "Delia, did you see this?" I tilted my head. "See what?" He walked over and thrust the phone toward me. On the screen, Brianna's story was paused on the slide with his circled "I'm single" message. "Brianna posted our DMs," he said, voice high and tight. "Everyone is saying I cheated on you. My phone is blowing up. Brands are texting me. People are unfollowing me. My mentions are insane." I looked at the screen for a beat, then back at him. "Huh," I said softly. "That's unfortunate." He stared at me like I'd slapped him. "That's all you have to say?" "What do you want me to say?" I asked. "That I'm shocked you told someone you were single while you were sleeping in my bed 3 nights a week, because I'd be lying." He blinked. Did you have something to do with this?" "Me?" I raised my eyebrows. "I don't even know her in real life. How would I have anything to do with it?" "But you, someone," he raked a hand through his hair, pacing. "I never gave her your name. I never said I had a girlfriend. How does she know?" I let a small, humorless smile tug at my mouth. "Interesting question, Logan," I said. "Maybe what you should be asking is why you were so sure she'd never find out at all." His notifications chimed again. His follower count ticked down another notch. And for the first time since he told me I didn't fit his brand, I felt something like balance return to the room. Logan stood there, chest tight, breath coming in shallow bursts, the glow of his phone screen carving out harsh angles across his face. "This is insane," he muttered. "People are tagging me. Brands are commenting that they need to review our partnership terms. My manager texted me. My manager, Delia." His voice cracked at the end of my name, like he was the injured party here. I watched him unravel like a thread pulled too fast from cheap stitching. "What are you going to do?" I asked softly. He stopped pacing. "I have to explain. I have to tell people she took everything out of context." I lifted an eyebrow. "Which part exactly? The part where you told her you were single? Or the part where you said you wanted something real with someone who understood your lifestyle? Which one is the misunderstanding? I'll wait." He opened his mouth, closed it, then rubbed both hands down his face in frustration. "Delia, this is not the time. I need to do damage control." "Of course you do." "I'm serious." "I know." I stood up and walked past him toward the kitchen. The air around him felt static, overloaded by panic and shallow righteousness. I poured myself a glass of water, the sound of it filling the silence he suddenly didn't know how to hold. "You don't seem very upset," he said quietly, like it was an accusation. I turned, glass in hand. "Logan, I've been upset for weeks. Months, probably. Tonight is just the first time you're finally seeing the consequences." "What consequences? I didn't cheat." My jaw tightened. "You told another woman you were single." "That was networking." "No, networking is sharing LinkedIn profiles, Logan. Networking is, let's collaborate, or let's build something together. Not telling someone you're single and open to finding something real. You weren't networking. You were shopping for upgrades." His mouth fell open a little, like he genuinely hadn't expected the words to land as solidly as they did. He took a step towards me. "Delia, please, tell me you believe me." I stared at him for a long, long second. Then I said what I should have said months ago. "I believe what I saw." He flinched. My phone buzzed from the couch. I didn't look at it. I already knew what it was. More screenshots. More reposts. More people adding their voices to the pile. Logan finally broke. "Okay, you know what? Fine. I messed up. All right? But you don't have to act like you're so perfect. You looked through my phone." I held up a finger, and there it is. "There what is?" "The pivot. The moment where, instead of taking responsibility, you try to make me the villain. Classic." "You violated my privacy." "After you violated our relationship," I said calmly. "Don't pretend you're outraged about boundaries when you erased mine online for 8 months." He opened his mouth again, but the words died on his tongue. Instead, he sank down onto the edge of the couch and buried his face in his hands. "I'm going to lose everything," he whispered. I sat down across from him, my tone cold but even. "You're going to lose what you chose over us." He looked up sharply. His eyes were red at the corners. "You don't get it. I worked so hard for this platform. The brand deals, the partnerships, the recognition, it took years. Years. And you risked all of it for a few DMs with someone who looked better next to you than I did. That's not my fault, Logan. That's yours." His jaw clenched. "You don't understand how social media works." "Maybe not, but I understand relationships." He stared at me, bewildered and offended at the same time, like the two emotions were wrestling for control. "Please," he said suddenly, almost desperate. "Delia, listen to me. People are already questioning whether I even have a girlfriend. If you post a picture of us together, just one, it'll prove Brianna misunderstood. It'll fix everything." There it was, the moment he finally said the quiet part out loud. "You hid me for months," I said, each word slow and deliberate. "You told me I didn't fit your aesthetic. You said I'd hurt your brand." "Delia, and now you want me to rescue your brand?" I shook my head. "No." His face crumpled. "You're being cruel." "No." I leaned forward, elbows on my knees. "I'm matching your energy." Silence fell between us like a thick curtain. He stared at me as if he didn't recognize the woman sitting across from him. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he'd only seen the version of me that was quiet and compliant and easy to hide behind captions about self-care and authenticity, not the one who could see the cracks in his carefully curated life and call them what they were. He let out a trembling breath. "So that's it then? You're done?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. He looked down at his phone again. Notifications were still pouring in. Fast, relentless, merciless. "I have to fix this," he whispered, half to himself. "Good luck." I stood, walked past him, took the blanket that had slid off the back of the couch and folded it over the armrest. I didn't slam doors. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. Quiet endings are sometimes the loudest ones. Behind me, he was typing frantically, his fingers tapping the screen with the speed of someone drowning and trying to tread water. I went into the bedroom, grabbed my overnight bag, my charger, my toothbrush. I didn't pack everything. Not yet. Just the pieces of myself I hadn't already given away. While I zipped the bag, I could hear him talking on speakerphone in the living room. No, I swear it wasn't like that. I didn't lie. It was just a misunderstanding. Can't we spin it as a miscommunication? Spin. The word hit me like a gust of cold air. He wasn't trying to fix the truth. He was trying to fix the optics. By the time I stepped back into the hallway, he was pacing, gesturing wildly, phone pressed to his ear. Delia, he said when he saw the bag. Where are you going? To sleep, I said. Somewhere that doesn't smell like panic. He hung up immediately. Delia, wait, be reasonable. I was reasonable, I said softly, for 8 months. Don't do this, not tonight, please. I paused at the door. You already did it. I left without looking back. That night, he stayed up until 3 a.m, posting statements, deleting comments, resharing stories, crafting apologies that used every corporate-sounding, non-apology phrase imaginable. Taken out of context. Misinterpreted. Miscommunication. Professional collaboration. The internet didn't buy any of it, and neither did I. Logan wasn't at the apartment when I returned the next morning. For a split second, stepping into the quiet space felt surreal, like walking into the aftermath of a storm where everything looks normal but smells like rain and broken things. His shoes were still by the door, but the air didn't contain him anymore. Just the faint echo of his panic from the night before. I walked through the living room slowly. A half-empty protein shake sat abandoned on the counter. His ring light was still plugged in but tipped sideways like he'd knocked it over in a rush. The apartment felt drained, like someone had pulled out all the bright, artificial air that kept it afloat. My stomach twisted, not from regret, from confirmation. He wasn't worried about losing me. He was worried about losing his audience. My phone buzzed with a notification from Brianna. Brianna, you okay? I know last night was a lot. I typed back. Me, I'm fine, or something close to it. Another message arrived instantly. Brianna. He posted 3 stories trying to clarify. Everyone is dragging him. Even some fitness accounts with big followings made videos about it. It's bad. I didn't open his profile. I didn't need to see it yet. Instead, I walked to the bedroom and began folding the rest of my clothes. Jeans, sweaters, t-shirts that never matched his color-coded aesthetic 4-couple photos, because we never took any. A few pieces he'd bought me as a gift, but were really brand samples he wanted to feature in a flat lay someday. I debated leaving those behind on the bed like evidence. Instead, I shoved them into the donation pile. While I packed, the front door clicked open. Logan walked in. He looked wrecked. Hair messy, hoodie unzipped, face pale with exhaustion. A deep heaviness followed him into the room like a shadow. Delia, he said, voice raw. I didn't stop packing. Hi. He stood there, hands hanging uselessly at his sides. I didn't sleep, he said quietly. I know. Everyone thinks I'm a liar, a cheater. Are they wrong? I asked. He flinched like I'd hit him. I didn't cheat, he whispered. Not physically. I dropped a folded sweater into my suitcase. Emotionally, digitally, publicly, take your pick. He swallowed. I didn't think it mattered. I didn't think that I would matter, I finished. Not compared to your followers. He rubbed the back of his neck. I messed up, I know that. But you could have talked to me, Delia. You could have come to me before it blew up. A bitter laugh escaped before I could stop it. Talk to you? So you could spin it? Gaslight me? Tell me I'm interpreting screenshots wrong. Tell me Brianna misunderstood your professional intentions. You would have turned it into a PR problem, not a relationship one. His eyes flicked to the suitcase. You're really leaving? I am. Please don't. His voice cracked, and for the first time he sounded small. Delia, don't walk out like this. I zipped the suitcase halfway and looked at him. Really looked at him. You kept me off your feed for 8 months, Logan. I've been invisible to your world since the day we met. And the one night you finally needed me publicly? It wasn't to love me. It was to save your brand. That's not true, he whispered. It is, I said softly. And you know it. His breathing stuttered. We can fix this. We can explain things. We can tell people we were working through stuff privately. We can post something together. Just one picture. You're still trying to script me, I said. Still trying to turn this into content. I'm trying to fix my life. Then fix your life, I said. But don't use me as a prop. Silence fell like a heavy curtain between us. He took a shaky step forward. Delia, I love... Don't, I cut in sharply. Don't say it. Not today. He shut his eyes like the word hurt him. I'm sorry, he whispered. For everything. For being selfish. For being stupid. For being scared about losing what I built. You don't know what it's like to have thousands of people watching your every move. You're right, I said. I don't know what that's like, but I know what it's like to be with someone who cares more about those thousands of strangers than the person sitting next to them on the couch. His voice wavered. Can you just stay one more day? We can talk when we're both calmer. I shook my head. If I stay, I'll let you talk me into thinking this wasn't as bad as it was. I'll let you explain until the edges blur. That's my problem, not yours. I forgive too quickly when someone apologizes pretty enough. He swiped at his jaw angrily, like he didn't know whether he was mad at me or himself. I don't want to lose you. You already did. The words hit harder than I expected. They made both of us flinch. He took a step back as if absorbing the blow physically. Can I at least carry your bag? No, I said gently. I've got it. I closed the suitcase, picked it up, walked toward the living room. He followed me, steps heavy, like he was trying to drag time backward. When I reached the door, he said, What am I supposed to do now? I opened the door without turning. Start by telling the truth. Then I walked out. For the rest of the day, I stayed with a friend. I didn't check his profile. I didn't open his messages. I didn't let myself spiral. I just sat with the quiet, something I hadn't realized I'd been missing for months. That night, I finally opened Instagram. His profile was a war zone. Vanity influencer caught lying again. Disgusting. Why didn't you admit you had a girlfriend? This is so manipulative. Your apology is trash. Accountability challenge. Fail. His follower count had dropped by nearly 1,000 in one day. His pinned comment, authenticity is everything, was now followed by a string of clown emojis. I scrolled until I hit a post he'd made that morning. A photo of a sunrise from the balcony of his apartment. Caption, some days, all you can do is breathe and hope people understand your side of the story. The comments were brutal. We saw the story, Logan. You lied. Full stop. Stop manipulating your followers. Tell the truth instead of hiding behind quotes. I didn't like the post. I didn't comment. I didn't message him. I just closed the app and sat in the dim light of my friend's living room, listening to my own heartbeat slowly settle into something steady, something resembling peace. The next morning, I moved the last of my things into my new apartment. A small studio, high windows, quiet, no ring light, no curated corner, no staged content. Just me. And for the first time in months, that felt like enough. It took a full week before Logan tried to contact me again. By then, I had settled into my new apartment enough that it no longer felt like a hotel room. I'd bought a cheap rug, a lamp that cast warm light instead of the harsh LED lashes he preferred, and a plant I already suspected would die in 3 weeks because I forgot to water things that didn't send calendar reminders. My life felt quiet, unpolished, unfiltered, and real. I was brewing coffee when my phone lit up with a number I recognized immediately, his. I let it ring. It rang again, and again. I silenced the call. He switched to texting. Logan, Delia, please talk to me. I need to explain some things. I deleted the notification. Minutes later, Logan, I swear, I didn't think those messages meant anything. I was stupid. Please. Then, brands are dropping me. My manager wants to put me on a break. People are still dragging me. Please, just talk to me. I locked my phone and turned it face down. He wasn't asking for a closure, he was asking for a life raft. 2 days later, I met with my friend and now unofficial roommate therapist, Mia, at a coffee shop near my building. She had been watching the Logan drama unfold with a mix of fascination and righteous fury. You want to see something? She asked halfway through her latte. Do I? She turned her phone toward me. Logan's latest Instagram post. A black square, white text. Apology font, size 48. I'm taking accountability and stepping back from content creation. I snorted. Stepping back? He got shoved off the cliff by the algorithm. Mia grinned. Oh, it gets better. Read the caption. I took her phone. I want to be transparent. I made mistakes. I hurt people I care about. I let my platform change me, and I became someone I don't recognize. I'm going offline to work on myself and rebuild the trust I broke. Please respect my privacy during this time. The comments were brutal. You didn't make mistakes, you lied. Imagine finally mentioning your girlfriend after she dumped you. Accountability without details means nothing. This is PR, not growth. And the likes lower than any of his posts in years. I handed the phone back. He's in damage control mode, again. That's his entire personality, Mia said. Damage control. I stirred my coffee, staring at the swirl. I kept trying to fit into his world. I thought if I just waited, he would make space for me. He didn't want a partner, Mia said. He wanted a prop. The truth of that settled in my chest, heavy but clean. A week later, Brianna messaged me again. Brianna, just checking in. You holding up okay? Me. Yeah, weirdly calm. You? Brianna. Fine. People moved on. The internet's attention span is like 2 inches long, but Logan's PR meltdown bought him a permanent reputation stain. No one big wants to collaborate with him now. Also, what he did was gross. I'm sorry you got dragged into his mess. Me, thank you, truly. She hesitated before sending a final message. Brianna, for what it's worth, you deserve better than being someone's hidden girlfriend. Don't let anyone convince you you're not brand enough. That's toxic influencer speak for I want to trade you in. I sat there for a moment, fingers hovering over the keyboard before typing. Me, I know that now. And I did, more than I wanted to admit. 6 weeks after everything went down, I walked home from work on a cool evening, the air crisp and the streetlights blurry through a thin mist. My new life didn't feel shiny. It didn't feel curated. It wasn't aesthetic or optimized for engagement, but it felt mine, every inch of it. When I reached my apartment, I tossed my keys onto the counter and, without meaning to, opened Instagram. I searched his profile. Logan Price, former fitness influencer. 15.2K, 10.1K followers. His grid had changed. No more polished gym shots. No more brand tags. No more styled breakfasts or hotel mirrors or sunlight angled perfectly across his jawline. The top post was the apology. The rest were older, rows of a life that had cracked like porcelain. I clicked the tagged photos. Someone had posted a meme using his screenshot. When you say you're single but your girlfriend says hi from the shadows. Another account made a TikTok using clips of his apology video, adding clown music over the background. His image, his precious, carefully tended image, wasn't just damaged. It was stained. The irony wasn't lost on me. He was terrified I'd ruin his aesthetic. He did it himself. Slowly, painfully, publicly. And all because he didn't want anyone to see me. I closed the app. The room felt lighter. Quiet in a way I hadn't realized I'd missed. That night, curled under a blanket with a cheap candle burning on the windowsill, I opened my laptop and pulled up an old folder of photos. Most of them weren't good. They were blurry, chaotic, dim. Hair in my face, clothes wrinkled, terrible angles, ones I'd never posted, never curated, never retouched. Real ones. I looked at a photo of myself laughing so hard my eyes were squeezed shut, my hair falling halfway across my face. Logan would have hated it. I smiled. I'm dating again, slowly, carefully, not jumping into anything, not bending myself into aesthetically pleasing shapes for someone else's feed. I'm learning to pay attention to red flags. If someone needs to hide you, if they rank you by their followers, if they treat you like an image instead of a person, that's not love. Love is shown, not filtered, shared, not hidden, held, not